anticipation to get this thing going?
I think everybody's excited. It's been a good training camp. It's been a hard training camp, but it feels long when you kind of get to the last couple days or so of it. So I think there's always excitement, anticipation to start the season. Obviously.
What stands out to you about Stolarz? What have you learned about him?
He's big. He definitely takes up a lot of the net. I mean, it's pretty noticeable coming down and shooting on him, but I think he competes really hard, and he's pretty good at reading the play, I find. And when you think you have the opening, he kind of is baiting you to shoot it there. But I think he's a really smart goalie, and like I said, he's big, takes up a lot of the net, and that's always pretty important.
It's been a long wait since May, obviously, to get going. Is anything different this year? Know you're coming in as captain, you have some records to shoot for.
Not really. I think the approach really doesn't change. My approach doesn't change. I mean, I come in every day, try to, lead by example, hold myself to a high standard as well as everybody else, and continue to put the work in and just continue to build. It's not going to be perfect, but obviously we want to take what, the work we put in through our training camp and, try to apply it right away and just continue to take steps and push each other.
I apologize if this has been asked before, but what would constitute a great season for you?
What would constitute a great season?
I mean, come April, between now and April.
Well, I think just staying present. We want to continue to build our game. It's not, we can't think too far ahead. It's about taking care of today, taking care of tomorrow when tomorrow comes, and making sure that every day we're continuing to take steps in the right direction and in the right way that we want to play on a nightly basis, and making sure that we're being consistent.
Most of the league players I know sort of work on one thing or two things in the offseason to get them to the next level and go for the next year. What kind of things would you like to begin doing better than you've never done before?
I think it's just getting better in all areas, offensively, defensively, just little things within the game that, continually happen. Like, I think there's patterns that happen throughout a game all the time, and, putting yourself in those situations in practice or before practice, just working on little skill stuff. And so when those plays arise in the game, you've kind of put yourself through those situations, and it's more so reacting off of instinct rather than thinking much.
How strong does this team-based system, and how do you think it will kind of maybe help you?
Yeah, I think he definitely wants us to play more direct on both sides of the puck. I think defensively, making sure that we're closing quick and limiting the other team's time and space. And I think it's just a commitment to both sides of the puck, and all five guys on the ice have a job to do, and making sure that we're all doing that to the highest of our abilities.
Steph Curry signed a new deal, about $60 million a year, and I think Dak Prescott just signed one in the 60 range. Ohtani's at 70. Are elite hockey players underpaid for what they bring to the game?
Steve, I don't know. I'm grateful to play in the NHL. I'm grateful that I get to do this for a living. That stuff doesn't. I think it gets talked about, but at the same time, I think I'm very blessed to be able to do what I'm doing. So I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to. It's not something that keeps me up at night. So.
You talk the playoffs. Last one, guys. Here. That can't be taken for granted. Though, is that something you guys talk about at the start of the year?
Yeah, it's.
To go or 5 months, whatever. Get where you want to go.
Yeah, definitely. That's obviously the goal, is to make the dance. So you got to have a good regular season to get there, and that's the focus. Where we're at. We just want to continue to build our game now and throughout the next couple of months, and put ourselves in a position to obviously get there. But that's not something we're really looking too far ahead at.
How are you feeling about where you're at going into this season?
Excited. We're excited about this group here. We got a great group. We can't look too far ahead. We just gotta be in the here, the now, and be ready for the challenges.
Berube's kind of different system, north-south, have on your game?
I don't think much. We have a lot of speed in this locker room. We have a lot of guys that can really motor up and down the ice. So I think if anything, and maybe at some points it might make it easier. Just we know we want to be north. We want to be direct. When there are plays we made, look to try to make them. But at the same time, you have someone slashing through. You have someone going, trying to get behind D.
Do you have many memories of Stolarz from your London days at all?
Yeah, I do. He's still the same guy. He's was an awesome guy when I was there my first year. Really open arms. Kind of obviously it's I think changed quite a bit now for when rookies went into the OHL. He was very welcoming to me, inviting me over, hanging out. Kind of just talking about multiple stuff about hockey, life, and everything like that. So he's always been an awesome guy, and I was really excited when we got to sign him.
What do you appreciate about him as a goalie?
Well, I remember the first time I saw him in London. I was with my dad. We were walking out. I think they were going into game 5 or 6 against Barrie in the finals, and we walked by, and both of us just looked at him, and we were like, "That is a behemoth of a man." And now you're happy that you can just shoot him in practice, not in games. So, but he's been awesome in this locker room. Out of the locker room, he's the same guy as he was in London. So we're very happy to have him.
You touched on it a bit. You and Auston, I don't think I've ever missed the playoffs here. Starting game 1 is that that's what you guys can't take anything from it. Yeah, I like that. Starting from mentality.
Well, yeah, I mean everyone's starting from scratch. So there's a lot of great teams this year. I mean there's 31 other teams that are all trying to make it as well. So I think in the main focus of things though, like I've been going to speak about is. You can't get caught looking ahead. You got to be in the here and now. Just take every day as it is, and there's going to be challenges some days, and other days it's going to feel easy. So just got to be ready for both opportunities, and ready to break through both.
What stands out to you about how Joseph Woll has come into this season?
Get over here, Will. I want to talk to you. Joe's been great. I mean, Joe's the same guy as always. Just calm, cool, collected, does his thing. He's one of the kindest human beings I think anyone's ever met if you get the time to spend some time with him. At the same time, he is a goalie, so he's very fascinating at some moments of life. But another guy we're very grateful and lucky to have. He's just a calming presence in that net, and you see it out in practice, you see it out in the games the last couple.
What was your message, if any, to Easton going back to London?
I know, I actually didn't get to say bye face-to-face. I told him I wanted to, and then I don't know where he went after yesterday. We had a meeting and kind of just disappeared on me, so I'm going to give him a phone call, but I think my message is going to be just go and have fun, do your thing, be the leader that you can be, and keep trying to achieve great things in London. And obviously I was talking to him a little bit just about obviously falling a little short, and how disappointed he was and stuff like that, and another great opportunity to go back there and try to do it again. So you can only get better and learn more things, and especially under the Hunters, you can always get better and learn more things under those two. So I'm excited to watch him, excited to see the great things he does this year, and see him grow up and be the leader that he can be.
What do you like most about your game in the preseason?
I think just kind of how well I communicated with the defensemen. Obviously it's a new group, and just being able to talk to them, and they were great with me as well, playing the puck, and just the way they kind of made my job a lot easier was really nice, and it allowed me to kind of settle in and find my game.
Why do you think that clicked so quick for you?
Just hard work in the summer and training. I mean, I kind of didn't really take any time off when I got back, so I was continuously sharp, and like I said, we put the work in here in practice, and a couple days before the game started with Curtis, and the guys out there did a really good job of making my job easier, letting me see the puck, and it was just kind of up to me to control the rebounds.
A lot of big guys and shot blockers out there. That must be nice for you to have a sense of security among your defensemen. I mean.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Anytime that those guys can eat the pucks as a goalie, you're gonna appreciate it. Obviously, it's not the most fun thing to do, but at the end of the day, that's what it's going to take to win games here.
What's the inspiration for your style? Because you play well, you look good too on the ice. You have a pretty unique kind of look, the crow mask and then colorful pads. What inspires it?
I just think that the colorful pads, I've done that the last couple of years since I was in Anaheim. I just like the way it feels. I don't really like the puck marks being able to be shown, and it's just a little different. You kind of feel a little swaggier out there. And, we were as a kid, you're on the goalie on the pad websites, making up all the mock-ups of the pads, and no one really went with the all whites. You kind of wanted some color, so just kind of childhood me going back and doing that. So probably just throwing us there.
What are the games in New Jersey like for you?
They're exciting. Obviously, my home state, and a lot of friends and family are always in attendance, and I played there quite a few times now, so it's always exciting to go back home, and I always try to put out my best effort there.
How many friends and family would you have there?
Probably around 50. Yeah, 50 people. So let them go and stub up their own tickets and whatnot. So it's off my plate now.
What was your favorite fan memory growing up in New Jersey?
I always had this picture of, I was probably too young to remember, but I think it was the '95 Cup. I was on my dad's shoulders, and we were at the parade. I think it was in the parking lot that year. So obviously I don't remember it, but it was just something that was always up in the house. So I would see that and do that. And I also did the Mites on Ice one year. I think I played for that Pee Wee Quebec team in Jersey, and we were able to go out there and play in between periods at the Prudential Center, which was kind of cool.
Was Berube a guy that you idolized growing up?
Yeah, he's the whole inspiration behind me kind of playing the puck. And, when I was a little kid, I would skate out into the corners and go play the puck and squirt in Pee Wee and kind of do that. So he was kind of the reasoning behind that.
You were talking about your style, Mark. Goalies are notorious for having intricacies and just little superstitions. What would your biggest sort of goalie intricacy be?
I guess I just put on my left skate, like left side. So I guess my left skate, left pad on first, and then go to the right. But I try not to be, too superstitious. You never know what can happen, and things change. So I like to keep it pretty loose out there.
He looks up to Bobrovsky's one of the goalies he tries to emulate. Do you see, he's starting out too as a young guy, but do you see any similarities between those guys?
Who are you saying?
Bobrovsky. So Woll, because he's not as big as you, he was saying goalies out, one of them is Bobrovsky. Obviously, he's just starting out his career, but do you see anything similar between those two guys?
I think the biggest thing is probably work ethic. I mean, you look at Waller on the ice, and he's working really hard. He's always out honing his craft and working on his edges. He kind of does the same thing Bob does with the skating and that edge work. And he's always in the gym. And Bobby was the same way. He was always there doing his lifts. Even after pregame skate when he was starting that night, and Bobby was always one of the first guys there, last guys to leave. And I see that a lot of similarities with him and Waller.
How would you describe what makes the season opening start special?
Can't really get much better than playing Montreal in the Bell Center, so maybe playing Montreal at Scotiabank. But it's exciting. It's obviously fresh start and clean slate, so I'm excited to get going.
What stands out about the Bell Center?
It's just a historical place to play. I've been in the building. I don't think I've had a game there where I've played yet. But I won World Juniors there back a few years ago and had some cool memories there. So it'd be exciting to get this experience.
So do you feel like a rookie, a veteran? Like this is first time starting the season as a starter. What does that feel like?
Probably neither. Honestly, not a rookie and not a veteran. So whatever kind of the middle ground is there, going into the second year. So yeah.
Does it give you more comfort to actually be coming off a year where you spent it the whole year in the NHL? Does that give you a little extra something coming into this year?
Yeah. Like you're saying, you definitely feel more comfortable coming in than last year, and to have a full year under your belt and that experience gives you the knowledge that you can you belong and you can do it, and I'm excited to take that step.
We were talking to Anthony about his style. You're a little bit more subtle with your designs, but I'm curious, your new mask, the wolf, what inspired that?
Yeah, I have two very different, I'm looking up, they're not there anymore, but yeah, two very different masks this year. I think a little bit of inspiration from Cujo with the wolf, and I was talking to somebody about the other day, my first ever goalie helmet I had was a black dog kind of wolf looking thing, so kind of cool going back to my first helmet as well.
Who's your favorite goalie growing up?
It was a bad answer because we're playing Montreal, but Carey Price. Yeah. Yeah. What's that?
He was a good goalie.
He was a very good goalie, yeah.
I know you talked about how Bobrovsky's one of the guys that you kind of look at right now, and obviously Anthony spent a lot of time around him last year. Have you had a chance to kind of pick his brain, or are you interested to kind of maybe see if you can learn something about Bob from him?
Yeah, definitely. I think it's important to be able to learn from guys that have been around, and whether it's Bob or Anthony, they both have good pedigrees and have been in this league for a while. So it's nice to learn about guys you idolize a bit growing up and stuff, and also be able to learn from guys like Anthony. So it's good.
Do you have a number in your head of how many games you think you'd either like to play or could play?
Truthfully, I come in each day. I try to take it a day at a time, and obviously I want to play as many games as possible, and I want to do whatever I can to help this team, and yeah.
What about your pregame routine preparation? How has that changed?
My pregame preparation?
And maybe off days, like in terms of stretching, that sort of thing. Does that change at all for you?
You know, I think as you get older, you spend maybe a bit more time taking care of the body and stuff. So I think that's something that naturally grows. I mean, you get more treatment, do things like that. But yeah, I mean, I think as you grow and get older, things naturally change a bit. Nothing really like drastic or life-changing, but yeah.
Is it Toronto-Dallas Stanley Cup possible?
Excuse me?
Is it Toronto-Dallas Stanley Cup final possible?
Like legit, like yeah.
Playing each other.
Yeah. Like,
And what would that mean
isn't
to
it
you?
possible?
And what would that mean to you?
Oh, I see. Yeah, that'd be pretty. I was like, yeah, it's possible. Yeah, that would be pretty cool. Truthfully, I've yet to play Otter in an NHL game, so I think just playing against him for a game would be pretty sweet. Yeah, not to mention Stanley Cup final.
What's your sense of where Joseph Woll's at heading into this start?
Solid. I mean, he's had, lots of good practices, solid in practice. Been solid.
How do you approach to get the workload between those two guys early in the season? Do you kind of have a set idea of what you're going to do, or do you
Yeah,
kind
we
of play
do.
by
It's
ear?
always mapped out, but subject to change at times and things that happen and what goes on.
Are you a win and stay in kind of coach for goalies, or do you sort of work it all out?
Well, I think that's a feel thing, and I think you kind of you got to go off of workload and things like that, back-to-back games. There's some scenarios that come up, but if you're winning, there's probably a good chance you might stay in.
For the first start, was it an easy call to give it just to Joseph because he's
Did I give it to somebody?
Oh, sorry, he was talking like he was.
Well, I never mentioned nothing, but
Okay.
whatever.
Will you start Joseph tomorrow?
Well, we'll see tomorrow. I mean, I'm not jumping to conclusions or anything.
Right.
We'll see tomorrow. That's tomorrow. Today's today.
Okay.
Speaking of tomorrow, how keen are you to get going tomorrow?
Yeah, we're all excited. Everybody's excited today. There's good energy out there in practice, and guys are itching to play real hockey games.
This is a division with a really good goaltending. Obviously, what's in Florida, what's in Boston, what's in Tampa. Where do you see your guys, with the little experience they have, sort of matching up against the goalies in the Atlantic?
Yeah, no, I understand what you're saying. Stolarz, won a cup. He's been around. I mean, he was the backup, but he's been in the league for a while, and he's got pretty good experience in that role. Woll, on the other hand, not as much, but he's come in and played pretty well in big games for the Leafs. I think, like I said, it's a tandem that's going to see more net than they have in the past.
We know pretty much what your first power play unit can do. What do you think about your second, though, in practice?
Well, I mean, there's guys out there that can, do the job and score goals. There's experience on that power play with Pacioretty, Domi, Ekman Larson, big eyes at the net. It's a shooting unit for me. They got to get pucks to the net, and depending on how much time they have in a power play will determine how things are. How much urgency they got to have early on. Obviously, if they don't have a lot of time, but there's some good shooters on that unit with Robertson, Pacioretty, and Domi's got a great shot. And I know he's a passer, but he's got a real good shot. So there's some good shooters on that unit, and they got to shoot the puck.
It looks like you're going to have 3 guys scratched every night, at least to start. Are you the kind of coach that wants to get those guys in over time? Or
I do. I think they're all important and a big part of the team. So, again, it's like schedule and obviously play and things like that will determine the lineup changes and what goes on.
How much, when you look at Joseph, how much of what's happened in the past with all the injuries he had are just circumstantial, and how much you guys determine is just who he is?
That's in the past. I really can't comment on that. I was not here. So, I mean, not being here, not being around it, not being involved in it, it's pretty hard for me to answer that question. That's in
Wouldn't
the
you
past.
have studied it a bit?
Studied. I have studied and looked at it, but it's still hard to determine, what went on exactly and where the guy was at the time with the injury and everything. There's a lot of things that go into it, so I'm not going to focus on that. I'm focused on the future.
You still get juice for an opening night, or?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, for sure, you get pumped up. I'm always excited to get going, no matter, every game pretty much, but I'm excited for this one.
There's goalies I know, I'll use Grant Fuhr, maybe the best example I can come up with, who would play every night no matter what condition they were in, no matter what their shoulder was doing, no matter what their knee was doing. And then there's guys who have to be perfect or close to perfect. Will you guys be determining where your guys fit on that scale as the season starts?
Well, definitely we got to look at, how the person's feeling, where he's at mentally, where he's at physically, to make decisions who's going to be in the net.
Outside of Reeves, anyone impressed you in the breakaways at the end there?
There's some guys that did some good things up there, so it's one time, so you got to, that'll sort itself out.
How do you obviously feel about your team as the season begins here?
Yeah, we're excited about it. I thought it was a good camp. I thought it was a hard camp. I thought there was, I thought we were well organized. Like lots of competition, not just, on the roster, but, new coaching staff. People are sort of finding their way within the team, ice time, roles, line mates. So I'm like 31 other guys right now. Everybody's undefeated, and we're excited. I'm excited about the group, and excited to get going.
What do you expect from Auston this year, given on and off the ice, given he's a captain now and that kind of thing?
Well, I don't expect anything different. When we went through this and we talked about it at the the press conference when he was named captain, he doesn't have to change anything. He's a guy that people in this room follow. His on-ice game, we know what he can do offensively. To me, he's one of the best two-way players in the game. I don't think he gets nearly enough attention to how he plays away from the puck and how he checks and how he sets the standard for our team. So just need him to be Auston.
Did you check all the boxes you want to see on the blue line, Brad?
We'll see. I think it's early to say you've checked boxes. We haven't played yet, so one of them was certainly we wanted to try to upgrade our blue line. I think we've done that. Getting Chris here, getting Oliver here, getting Yanni, who I know. He's taken a little time yet, but I think he's going to have an impact. And then the depth we have, it's different than I think it's an improved blue line, but we'll see. You've got to get into games here now.
What do you like specifically about a big blue line? Like it's a calling card for you, but what do you like with the size of it?
Yeah, I mean, you got to be careful. You're not just chasing size for size, right? But the reality is, it's that length. It's hard to get around. You can be sticky. They take away space. The game is still won at both net fronts, and I think the ability to keep that area clean, and just be able to, kill plays and have that long stick and reach that makes it difficult for opponents to create offense.
You have the five-man coaching staff, or how many are on your staff, and basically they're all gone, and you have, other than Mike, a whole new group of guys. What does it sound like, maybe away from being on the ice or at a game, different than it may have sounded like last year?
Just, you mean in my conversations
Yeah.
with him?
Because last year was your first year with the team,
Yeah.
and you didn't pick the coaching staff.
Yeah. Like different people are going to have different, everybody's their own individual, so there's a little bit difference. Like I said, I really enjoyed my time with Sheldon. Craig is, we didn't have a long history at all together at all, really. We had known each other a little bit. It's just, it's just a different person. It's a different, it's a different discussion. At the end of the day, a lot of the same things that they preach are very much the same. So I've really enjoyed it, Steve. I've really enjoyed, getting to know Craig, spending a lot of time with him. Now we're getting into the daily discussion of what happened today and building a team, and really impressed with Lane Lambert. Technical ability to relate with players, the experience he's had. You look back, he's won a lot in places he's gone. Teams have been very successful, and he's played a big role. And Savvy's really got a really creative mind, right? I think he can connect with offensive guys, and you know, you see sort of the, not only in the power play, just from a schematics standpoint. So I've enjoyed the interaction with the staff. You can tell there's a real chemistry between them. So it's been good.
Mitch is going into his contract year, of course. Why are you comfortable kind of in this situation? How do you think he's set up to kind of handle the uncertainty?
Well, it's not. I mean, it's just playing hockey. You know, I think Mitch is, like I said, he's a star. He's a great player. He's had a great summer. He's prepared. I think, like anything in life, when you prepare, you know, any job that you're in, going to school, any test you take, when you're prepared and you're confident, you know, that allows your ability to take over. And I think that's what Mitch is. So, you know, I couldn't be more pleased with him during camp. He's got a lot of juice to him. He brings energy to our group, and then his on-ice play speaks for itself.
When you have new coaches looking at returning players, is it fresh eyes on returning players? That maybe a wake-up call for some of these guys who maybe got into a comfort zone, or?
I don't know. People, you know, I don't know if it's a comfort zone at all. It's just, you know, the staff is new. You've got Mike and the video coaches that are Sam and Jordan that were here last year, but I think it's just a new set of eyes, right? And so, you know, in the coach's standpoint, they know a lot of these players from playing against them. They've never coached. I don't know if they've coached any of them, to be honest with you. So this is their fresh look. So yeah, sometimes it's really good because you get everybody talks about a fresh, clean slate, but in some cases you haven't built up capital, right? So if you have a bad Monday, you know, they're like, well, is this what it is, or is there more here? So I think he's getting, when I say Craig and the staff are getting to know the players, but that's what I see. It's usually just a fresh set, and we've had some injuries, so we've still got a lot of, you know, we've got a lot of players still around. So everybody gets excited for the opening day roster. Well, the opening day roster can change today now, right? So whoever dresses tomorrow, it could be different the next night. So we got lots of competition, and what that does is hopefully getting the best of everybody.
Given what you've seen out of Joseph's camp, how confident are you that the issues that he might have had in previous years are behind him?
Issues as
like the durability, just the.
Well, guys can get hurt, right? Like that happens. You know, I don't know. We hopefully spent lots of time on working at it, but that doesn't mean, you know, sometimes luck runs in the way, right? Like, I know he's worked really hard, David. Like, he's had a really good summer. He's really fit. We you know, looked at some different things in terms of his mechanics and all those types of things, and core and but he's always been dialed in with that. So yeah, he's put in all the work. We're hopeful he can stay healthy. Stuff happens, but he's looked real good.
What's the timeline for Hakanpää?
Timeline for Hakanpää?
Yeah.
Well, we kind of thought coming into it, it'd be a few weeks. Touch wood, there's been no setbacks. I think, you know, we're hopeful next. I mean, he's been practicing, but it hasn't been, you know, it hasn't been full contact, and then we'll hopefully have a game plan here in the next couple of weeks. Whether that means, you know, then maybe get him into some games with the Marlies on a condition. We'll see, but better read probably in the next couple of weeks.
How much of a goal, Brad, would it be to finish first in the division? Teams made the playoffs under this group, but would that help at the end of the day to finish in that position?
Yeah, and hey, listen, we want to have as good a season as we can. We're gonna, and I know this, people roll their eyes. We're gonna worry about today, right? We talked to our group this morning, and the message was, you know, I like our group. You know, we've got to build an identity for our group, but we're gonna just worry about today. And if you keep stacking good days on, you'll end up where you want to end up. But you know, certainly we want to be as, you know, you want to strive to finish as high as you can. We're in a real good division, you know, loaded with good teams. But we're just going to focus on, you know, today, and then tomorrow we'll get ready for tomorrow.
You're in a division with Bobrovsky, Vasilevsky, Swayman. Oh, Mark, you can run down.
Okay,
It's
I'll
like-
leave now.
It's like a who's who of great goalies in hockey. How do you see your pair being able to sort of compete with that kind of group?
I'm confident, Steve, that our goaltenders are going to give us good goaltending, and I think we got good goalies. Now they're young, you know. In Joe's case, he's younger. He hasn't played as much. I think he's a really good goalie. You know, doesn't have the experience, so you can't hide from it, right? Like until you've done it, you haven't done it. But I've got all the confidence in the world. He's a really good goalie. And Anthony has been around the league. He hasn't played, it's not like he's got a 50-game, 40-game season to his, but he's proven to be a good goaltender. You put them together, I think we're going to get good goaltending. That's, and that we'll see. But I got all the confidence in they may not have the name recognition at this point, but I think they're both real good goalies.
Does this year feel
Do
any
one
different
last
for
one,
you?
Bill.
Okay?
Does this year feel any different than any others for you? And if so, why?
Well, it feels a little different here, most compared to last year. Just feels like the game slowed down for me a little bit. Like I use the player analogy, like it just felt like you're on the treadmill. I talked a little bit about it before, where you're coming in and we had some big files, and then you're gonna this year I feel just a little more comfortable in my own skin. Just not even that, but just around the surroundings. You know the staff, the coaches, the players. So that part feels a little different, yeah.